Hi there, Param. So we've got this new essay from you, university students, too much freedom, they don't study enough, do you agree or disagree, to what extent, and so forth. So let's take a look at what you wrote. While students of universities are loosely attached to their concerned course departments, it is often made out that they are studying insufficiently. I agree that due to many academic reasons, they are less bothered by the administration. However, from their lifestyle, it is of the remotest possibility to judge that they are much more oriented towards their studies than they seem. Okay, so the good news is that you have told us your position. The bad news is that some of this is really rather difficult to understand. In your attempt to rephrase and to use novel vocabulary, you haven't really made the communicative effect of this particularly clear. So let me show you what I mean. I didn't like this expression, often made out. It's a phrasal verb. In fact, I would even suggest that you avoid phrasal verbs in task 2. They do seem more informal. They do seem less academic than other language might seem. So it's a good habit to get out of if you're doing this. And then I didn't understand this. What does this mean? They are less bothered by the administration. Who is doing the bothering? Who is less bothered? I was very confused by this statement. From their lifestyle, it is of the remotest possibility to judge that they are more oriented. I didn't understand that either. I thought it was a lot of words that really didn't carry a very clear meaning. So I would love to see you rewrite this, even in just a little very informal kind of, note kind of way. Just tell me, Ellen, this is what I meant by this sentence. This is what I meant by this. And then together, we can certainly kind of rephrase this to sound both clear, but also academic. Because like I said, I really just wasn't super clear about this. So to give you just a couple of really fast suggestions so we don't spend too much time on this, you could say it is often perceived that they are studying insufficiently. But again, I really didn't understand what you meant by they're less bothered by administration. So what are you saying, that the administration doesn't kind of go after them? I don't know. And then what does this mean? It is of the remotest possibility to judge that they are more. I didn't get that at all. I think you mean something else, but I'm having a really hard time trying to decipher what your meaning is. So let's move on. To begin with, the freedom of these students is based on research to make them more responsible. This is why they are free from many obligations. The major barrier of students could have been compulsory attendance, which is no more than a requirement at many universities. On the contrary, this is the wrong expression here. I think you mean in contrast, students are left alone to pursue study on their own, and faculty is there to help when asked. Jawad, let me see if I can pronounce this without absolutely killing it. I can't say it. I'll just pretend I said it. Nehru University, New Delhi, is a famous example of such unaccounted attendance of students. As a result of unboundedness, it is producing scholars like Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee. Such facts are adequate to establish that university students largely have freedom. Okay, I'm not 100% clear what your central idea here was. I know you're talking about the freedom of the students, and it sounds, if I've understood your central meaning correctly, that you're saying that schools have given students freedom in order to make them more responsible. Therefore, they have freed them from any obligations like compulsory attendance. and instead the faculty is there when needed. And schools that follow this kind of model produce Nobel laureates like Banerjee. And so they're saying, hey, this is a great way to produce really responsible, really cutting edge professionals. I think this is what you were trying to say. Okay, let's move on. However, the observation by looking at the ever-changing routine of the students of a university that they are what? There's something happening with your grammar here. You lost me. The observation by looking at the ever-changing routine of the students of a university that they are spending less time on the studies is grossly wrong. All right, something happened with your grammar here. It's not particularly coherent because of something that went wrong with the grammar. I'm not sure where it went wrong. I'm not really sure what you were trying to say here. This is because students might not have been following the course in the conventional sense, reading from the books or attending lectures. Nevertheless, more important is the successful finish in their courses than the manner which they follow. For this, such students are traveling to different parts of the country to collect data or see the application of the theoretical information they have gained. Further, even when these people are talking with the candidates of different courses, it is possible they are conversing to bring out innovations coming out of two different areas of studies. Overall, they are at least studying equally as other students. Okay, now I do get a central meaning here, and I do find that your writing is convincing, but let me think about this for a second. Let me just reread the paragraph. Okay, so what I'm finding is that this first sentence in your paragraph is written in such a way that it really clouds the meaning of what you're trying to say. Let me reread it to you. The observation by looking at the ever-changing routine of the students of a university that they are spending less time on their studies is grossly wrong. I've now read it at least 3 or 4 times. I'm still finding it confusing. I think you mean something far simpler, far clearer than what is written here on this paper. Maybe you don't mean this. Maybe you mean instead, however, to assume by looking at the ever-changing routine of students that they are spending less time on their studies is grossly wrong. I think this is what you mean. Okay? Starting, however, a sentence like this, to assume, is not always the ideal. Okay? So you could have said, assuming by the ever-changing routine of university students that they are spending less time on their studies is grossly wrong. All right, so that I think is a better, clearer way of seeing what you're trying to say. And then this is because students might not be. So get rid of this tense here. I think this is also clouding your meaning. This is because students might not be following the course in the conventional sense, reading from books or attending lectures. Maybe what you could have said here is maybe you could have added another sentence. Instead, they are following less conventional methods like conversing with other candidates, etc., etc., etc. Okay? And then you could have said this. So I think it's partially this first sentence that just created some miscommunication and really didn't get what you were trying to say across, because I thought that your message itself was lovely. I mean, it's nice, but we need to distill it a little bit to get to the essence, the core of what you're trying to say, and make sure that that core is understandable. All right, so let's wrap up with your conclusion here. Hold on. From the arguments and examples given, I can assert beyond doubt that university students truly are free from many obligations to concentrate just on studies in whichever way. Having said that, some people's argument that such students have not been studying enough has no merit, since study, I would have gotten rid of the, since study is no more confined to count just the time spent with textbooks and lectures. Okay, I think that's a fair conclusion. I don't really have any issue with it. I thought it was fair enough. I thought it was fine. I would just take into account some of the feedback that I gave you throughout the essay. And let's just move on to your letter to the travel company. Let's see what you said here. Dear Sir or Madam, I am writing this letter to express my discomfort. I don't really love that word. We'll talk about it in a minute. It should have been dissatisfaction. You're not experiencing discomfort. It's not something uncomfortable. It's a letter of dissatisfaction, essentially. It's a letter of complaint. That's what it says in the task. So discomfort is not the best word here. It's not a great synonym. Okay, dear Sir or Madam, I'm writing this letter to express my dissatisfaction towards the service provided by your team during my recent tour to Paris with you. I traveled, along with my family of 4, on the guided tour offered by your firm. Our 3-day tour commenced from London this is awkward here. Our 3-day tour commenced from London on the 23rd. For your reference, my ID is this. As you may check, with Premium Pack, our family was supposed to be sitting in the first-class seats, not in the, but in first-class seats. Get rid of the. There are very specific rules about the with plurals. If you're not familiar with them, please revise them. Please look them up. But there are very limited instances where we use the with plurals. So, our family was supposed to be sitting in first-class seats and likely should have been the treatment. This is awkward. Maybe we could have said something else. So let's try it like this. As you may check with Premium Pack, our family was supposed to be sitting in first-class seats and expected the appropriate treatment. Maybe something like that would have been better, okay? Surprisingly, we were made to sit, not settle, in economy class on the way to Paris. Furthermore, not only were we not given our pre-booked meals on flights, but charged for regular food on board. Above all, our guide, Mrs. Lee, did not intervene in the situation to make the condition better. Even though the rest of the plan went as anticipated, the above said issues bothered me. There was no anomaly from our side to be conducted badly. This is awkward, to be conducted badly. I'm not really sure what you mean here. Do you mean to be treated badly? Perhaps. I'm not really sure. I have paid for the excellent service which I did not receive on the trip. I therefore suggest I be given a partial refund due to the inconvenience caused. Also, I would like you to take apt measures to avert such awkward situations for any other traveler in the future. I await your prompt response. Please telephone me personally for further information required. Yours faithfully. Okay, that's fine. It was good. I understood the situation. I thought it was pretty clear. There was a little bit of awkwardness, particularly in this paragraph. I thought this paragraph and the kind of closing went off without any error, so no problems there. Like I said, this was a little awkward. But other than that, I thought it was fine. I thought it was appropriate in many, many, many ways. So, yes, good. Keep going. You're doing well. You haven't commented at all if you had any questions or any comments or any feedback or anything. So I assume that you are okay with everything I have told you so far. I see that you're applying some of the stuff we've talked about, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see if you have any other comments or concerns in your next set, and I'll be waiting for them, okay? So good luck.